Oh, hey, it's me. Yeah, I decided it would be a good idea, since I have my video camera, to do a bit of like garden route walk and talk, you know? Why not, right? Got some nice bird life right here. They're flying away, of course. But anyway, yeah, I don't really know what I'm going to talk about in this edition of the walk and talk. You know, it's been a while since I watched any of Gary's videos, so I don't know what the current drama on YouTube situation is. But I don't know, maybe just a general overview video, layout, you know, kind of my presentation. And the subject is, of course, yeah, antinatalism. It's fucking important, because right now I'm doing this hike, and the logical question to ask is, well, if life sucks so much, like, why are you trying to do these enjoyable things or whatever? And that's kind of beside the point, and a misstatement of the argument. It's not about what I fucking do in my own personal fucking goddamn life. It's about natalism, antinatalism. What does my fucking hiking in this place have to do with nataling? It doesn't have a goddamn thing to do with nataling. So from the get-go, it should be kind of a canard to kind of do this bullshit. Second of all, it's directed at the speaker. It's not a real comment against the philosophy itself. Just because I may have a few personal flaws doesn't mean jack shit in the context of the actual argument itself that I'm putting forth, and the argument that's logically sound. So let's move on to the kind of bullshit. So why am I here? Why am I in this place? Well, it's complicated, but I'll tell you one reason. A chase, yeah, desire fulfillment. I done did it. Yes, that's correct. Because human beings, we have these desires. Sometimes they can be perverted or perverse. Perverted meaning like some people want to touch little kids or something, molest children. Some people want to rip off others by making shitloads of money. And others just like taking a walk in the fucking wilderness. And I think that's kind of benign, taking a walk in the wilderness. It's a benign way of fulfilling desire. Yeah, it's nothing like making a fucking goddamn $1 million off of, like, ripping off a company or something and destroying its assets, looting a company, some Bain Capital type shit. It's relatively benign. But that begs the question of why even have these desires in the first place? Why create these needs that don't need to exist? And that's the ultimate question. And I challenge anybody to come up with a fucking reason why it's necessary. And so far, nobody's been able to come up with anything satisfactory. And that's just a descriptive statement. It's not my opinion whatsoever. It's just a statement that nobody's been able to come up with a reason why we need to create a need that doesn't need to exist. So fuck that shit. Yeah. Because, yeah, these desires, we have a lot of them. I'm fulfilling a desire right now by being in nature. But at the end of the day, yeah, I took a pretty like satisfying hike. I guess I've satisfied my deprivation or desire. But there will be future deprivations that I experience. There will be future desires that I experience. Not to mention all of the desire, the fucking things that I want, that I could also be doing at the same time. Some kind of, the opportunity cost or whatever. There are still other desires that I have that remain unfulfilled, and that causes me to feel anxious, angsty, depressed, emo, whatever. But it does have this negative influence on me, the confluence of all of these different desires. And at the end of the day, yeah, I'm less than zero in terms of happiness, because there are still unfulfilled desires. So in that sense, yes, I'm not winning. I'm doing something enjoyable right now, but I'm not winning. You can't win. You can never have all of your desires satisfied at once. And that's kind of bringing up, I don't know if anybody's brought this up yet, but the whole aspect of, what is that? Cognitive dissonance, right? So even though so half of your brain may want, like, to be a billionaire and to do all this jazz and make a bunch of money so you can live in this castle and buy all the things that will satisfy these superficial desires, or however you want to call it. They could be deep down desires, like being satisfied by a high-class prostitute or something. But then there's also this other side that, let's say you get all that money and you're really successful and you think you're the shit and blah blah blah, everybody else speaks highly of you. There's also another side of your brain that may want to rebel from all of this and may want to desire simplicity and to not have all of these worldly burdens. I would say money is definitely a burden. So there's a part of the body that doesn't want to be burdened by this bullshit. And so in that sense, you can really never satisfy yourself completely. And so even if you are very rich and famous and successful, something's still missing. There's still going to be part of you that wishes something was different. So you can never be satisfied because of this cognitive dissonance thing and the zero-sum game and the deprivations. So yes, right now, very picturesque, huh? 10 out of 10, right? But I'm still experiencing deprivation, and that's a bummer. And the moral of the story is, if you don't want to create, and this is kind of an ethical thing, if you don't want to create beings that are never satisfied, then don't have children. And it's a responsibility, in fact. It is actually a harm. It's a crime. A fucking crime to impose life on this on future generations, especially given that future generations are going to experience a bunch of consequences of our fucking industrial activity. We got the motherfucking polluted ass earth. You got these chemical smokestacks belching out mercury that's making future generations retarded, lowering their IQ. So I'm not using retarded in a derogatory sense. Literally, intelligence is decreasing, especially among around the power plant areas, which is, of course, not where the rich people live. So if you're poor, you're probably being exposed to a lot of environmental hazards, so you probably shouldn't have kids. And if you're rich, you're probably a fucking bastard, and you also shouldn't have kids because you're probably going to make them as dumb and stupid as chase, instill the sense of chase and all this bullshit into your kid. And for what fucking purpose? For what need that needs to be satisfied, huh? In an objective sense. You can't come up with that bullshit. So that's my presentation. Hope you enjoyed it. till next time and such.